y'all. It's Allie. I am a high school science teacher, and I'm back at school. I'm here on a Sunday to start my week because I wasn't able to get all the things done on Friday that I needed to, and quite frankly, I needed the break from school on Saturday and Friday afternoon. I just needed to come home and decompress and kind of reflect on the week. So I'm here to do a couple of things that I wasn't able to do last week. I need to mark my floors where the desks go. The kids this week actually did a pretty good job of not moving them too much. They're still in rows, but the space between like the front desk and the desk behind it has shrunk. So I want to make that a little bit easier for the kids so that some kids aren't only distancing like 2 feet and some are distancing 5 feet, but just based on the movement of the desks. I've gotten a couple comments about our desks, but because they're really nice, but because they do have wheels on the front of them, and our seats have wheels, everything just shifts a little bit, and then throughout the day, as you can imagine, they can really move out of place. So I got to get those back in. I like to have my sideboard with my like weekly my weekly like topics listed, mostly for myself, but I think it also helps the kids know like what are we doing this week. I don't put homework up there because I don't give homework, so it's mostly just say like, hey, if you were absent, here's what we did yesterday. If you want to know what we're doing tomorrow, here's what you can get ahead on, type of thing. And then I need to make a couple of copies for anatomy because I got all my copies done for chemistry on Friday morning. So I don't have a lot to do, but technically I'm starting my week on Sunday. So I thought I would film some of that, and then I'm just going to take you along with me for the week. And this will be the very first full week of school. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm marking with some painter's tape, just an X, so the kids know that that's where this middle pole goes. So I've got this whole row done. I got that done on Friday, and I did the whole back row. So now I just have to do everything else. And I already have marks on the floor for when I had pods. This was like for the corner of the desk. So like from here to here, that was one section, and then so the pods. And this blue is slightly different, so I'm hoping that that helps distinguish them. But it didn't take very long to set them back up. They didn't move that much. But I actually realized on Friday that I don't need desk 26 and 27, so I can remove those. But I've been asked to wait to do that, so I don't think it'll make a huge difference. I just might be able to like move either that desk or that desk over there so that there's more of like an entrance way, which I kind of like the idea of. I definitely don't want anything up here. A colleague suggested I move these two desks so that I have more of a bubble. So I might do that, but it doesn't really, flip this around. It doesn't, for like the teacher bubble, it doesn't really matter because I teach in Indiana and there's a mask mandate. So like, even though I'm inside, even though I would be social distance from kids, I can't take my mask off anyway. So for me, having that teacher bubble doesn't make sense, especially I like to walk around and engage with the kids. So as long as we're all masked up, we should be fine. I mean, so yeah, I think I'm gonna just keep as much of a easy row type of situation as I can. So yeah, now I'm just gonna mark the floors and then make some copies and hopefully get out of here fast so I can get back to my weekend. Hey everyone, it's me, Allie. It is about 3:28. I'm sitting in the car line waiting to pick up my son. Yesterday, he sat on a bus for an hour. So, yeah, I'm picking him up today. That's just too long for him. So, school gets out at 3:35, so I thought I'd give you a quick update. We got an email this afternoon that a student has tested positive for COVID. They are quarantining everyone who's come into contact with him. It's with the student. I got an email from a kid who's sick that said he wouldn't be at school and that he'll be an at-home learner because he's sick, but no, I don't know if he is the kid with COVID or if he has something else. We're supposed to be told specifically if the student who has COVID has been in close contact with us, that we will be told what to do. So it could be that student, and maybe I just wasn't in close enough contact with him to be told to quarantine, or it could be another student. But yeah, so far the first 2 days of content have gone really well with my kids. Still not really having any issues with masks. The issues I'm having with more are sanitizing the desks in a timely manner, mostly because we work until the bell, and sometimes I'm struggling with timing. So good morning. It's Thursday. I'm getting ready to eat my breakfast. And I thought I'd do a quick check-in with you. This week has gone by very fast. Probably the biggest scary thing this week has been that my son's going to preschool now, and we've had some issue with the bus. But he's getting on a new bus today, so his bus ride home will no longer be an hour, because he's 3. That's way too long. It's way too long for any bus, but in my opinion, to get somewhere that's a mile away. My cat is freaking out because nobody's home during the day anymore, so he's struggling with that. And speak of the devil, and we're just trying to get back to normal, for us, whatever that means. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and eat my breakfast, drink my coffee, get little man ready for school. So, hi everybody, I just wanted to show you real quick what I'm doing for classroom keys. I usually post keys in Schoology for them because they're going to copy off of each other, at least in my experience, whenever math is involved. So if my keys are available to them, then they're checking their work against the right work rather than possibly their friend's wrong work. So that's just my personal feelings. So usually I have them posted in Schoology and in the classroom. And this year what I decided to do, was to post them on the board individually. Normally I do it in a packet. And then this way a student, they're in page protectors, so this way a student can look at the key and put it back, and I can easily sanitize it for them. Yeah, so hopefully that helps you. Hi everyone, it is Friday evening after the first week of school, and everything surprisingly went really well this week. In terms of classroom stuff, I still have a lot of questions about moving forward, but in terms of the business of school, everything's slightly different, but going well. The students are engaged because they want to be at school, but at least for me, I'm a very discussion-based teacher, and I like the kids to have small group discussions, and we can't do that right now. So I'm used to asking my kids or planning for my kids sitting in a group and discussing what we learned in class, or through discussion discovering something about, the nature of matter. And those conversations are more teacher-led now, and it feels like the kids have more of an opportunity to check out. And I'm having to kind of relearn some different cold calling methods. I mean, I always have a couple things, like that's what I use my index cards for, that they fill out on the first day. I shuffle them and we'll pull them out. And their desks are numbered, so I can use a random number generator to kind of call on them that way. But the first couple days of school, I don't really like doing that, so I want to get to know them first so I can read their cues before calling on them, because if a student has anxiety about being called out in class, I don't want to give them the opportunity to completely check out, but that also adds another layer. So it just takes like knowing your kids really well, and it's just been a little bit harder to get to know them this year, because usually by the second Friday, because we have Thursday, Friday, and then the first full week, I try and learn all of their names within the first, 7 days of school. And my anatomy kids, I was able to do that with because I know about 40%, I think, of the kids I had last year in chemistry, so I didn't need to learn as many of the new names. But I also, some of those kids I knew because they were friends of kids in my class, and so there's more familiarity with the upperclassmen, and less so with I knew 2 girls before because they were class officers, freshman class officers, and so I help with the sophomore class, and so I had met them through class stuff. We built floats together last year, so I knew 2 of those girls, and then I didn't know any of the rest of my 80 sophomores. I think probably the most disappointing thing about coming back to school, at least with my school corporation, is just kind of the admin's willingness to not know and to not have plans. And I get that we need to be flexible, but I feel like we should have plans A, B, C, and D, and maybe they have them, but why aren't they sharing them with us? That's I want to know, what happens if there's a large number of teachers out, who's covering my class? We don't have enough subs. A bunch of subs have quit. I know some schools have threshold numbers, at 12% absences of students, they're gonna all go virtual. We don't have any information like that, and the fact that other schools are making plans like that, why don't we have that plan yet? And that's something, again, I don't know if our admin's doing that, making that plan, and it's not finished and they don't feel comfortable sharing it, or because they're following the county health department. I don't know if it's a county health department issue. We did have a student this week test positive for COVID, and they responded differently than how they originally told the school they were going to respond. So I guess putting all of the blame on our admin isn't fair, because they're doing what they're being told to do. And I'm sure it's frustrating for them too, to not have all the information either. But it's kind of it's that trickle down effect. These people know, they give these people a little bit of information and tell them to keep it confidential, and then they give us not even a crumb, and we're expected to be okay with that. And it's just frustrating. It's frustrating not being able to prepare in any real way, because if I want to prepare my chemistry class to go virtual, I'm doing a bunch of extra work that I might not need to do, but if we go virtual and I did that work, then I'm ahead. So it's do I want to do extra work when there's already a lot of mental fatigue going on related to COVID? If it's going to calm me down, maybe I should, but at the same time, doing it might
also stress me out because then I'm taking time out of my home life to do that. And I do want to be clear, I'm not constantly freaking out at school. I'm not super stressed. I will say I started Couch to 5K with my mom in the spring, in February, and I have found, I continued to do it through spring, and I have found that running has really helped lower my stress levels and makes me feel good about myself. So I will recommend, not necessarily to run, but anything you can do for your mental health and for your well-being, make sure you're prioritizing that, because if you're not in a healthy state, that'll rub off on your students. So I guess really, if I can impart one morsel of truth from this week, it's that you've got to take care of you first, and you and your family come first. Don't answer emails from students at 10:30 at night. Don't get upset if at 10 a.m. you haven't found the time to email them yet, and then they get really nasty with you. It is what it is. That didn't happen to me. That happened to a colleague for a student who had chosen she had chosen to go online, but not all of our classes are big enough to go online. So it's like my anatomy, there's not enough anatomy kids to warrant an anatomy online course that's taught by me via Zoom or any other video option. So they just are kind of independent study, following along on their own, and then they take the assessments. And this other, my colleague was like, so she has a student who's doing that, but for her class, and she's like, I don't check my emails at 10:30 p.m. Our school day starts, we have to be there by 7:30, and she's like, I don't have a prep period until the afternoon. I'm not sitting at my desk all day staring at my emails, answering emails. I'm teaching children, and my priority are the children in front of me. So that's also an issue, is that parents who have chosen and students who have chosen to go online expect you, because it's online, they expect that immediacy. But if you're doing this hybrid model where you are the physical teacher in a physical classroom with 20 to 30 kids, parents don't seem to understand that you're not available 24/7 for their student who might be, doing their work at 3 a.m. because you let them play video games all day. Not that I think every parent's doing that, but I do think some are. And also the kids who, chose to be online, who chose independent study. Yeah, I'm not available. Just because I'm in the school building from 7:30 to 3:30 doesn't mean I'm available that whole time for your student who's online, because I have kids in my classroom who need me right now. And you're just going to have to wait. And that's the reality of it. And if I'm able to get to my email sometime during the day, yes, I will respond to you. But I also have a huge inbox of stuff, of all the normal back to school, plus, now I don't know if all teachers, a lot of us are parents. I'm getting all of the emails for, Hale's preschool and having to take care of those things. Not that that's a ton for preschool. I'm sure it's more for older kids. It's just all the normal back to school stuff, all of the normal rush of information type things. Like, found out today where I'm parking we're no longer allowed to park there. We have to park somewhere else, and I'm gonna have to remember that for Monday, and I probably won't remember that. It's just all the normal things also tied in with all the COVID things, and it's just making everything kind of not minute to minute crazy. It's not, even hour to hour crazy feeling. It's just when I really sit with it, it's like, man, we are going through it. And my department head has come up kind of with a motto for us, and she's like, grow through what you go through. And that's sort of kind of our plan for the year, is that we are going to do a ton of professional development on distance learning, and which excites me, because hopefully some of my fellow teachers who are really struggling at our school with distance learning will get a little more comfortable with it. And hopefully the school I'm currently at really abhors one-to-one programs, which I came from a one-to-one school, and it's just, computers are a great tool, and if every child has that tool and we teach them how to use that tool, isn't that a benefit? And there's still a mentality a lot of people have that it's not a replacement for a teacher, and it's not, but it's very handy. And there's so many things I could do with students in chemistry alone with a laptop. It's not just, or an iPad or whatever. It's not just English in high school that benefits from it. I can do graphing. I can do online labs. We can do collaborative activities via something like a Google Docs. There's so many things we could be doing with it. You want me to dance with you? Yes. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off so I can go and continue to dance with my son and kind of shrug everything off for the weekend and come back refreshed on Monday, ready for another strange week. Have a great weekend, guys.